Imagine sitting across from a woman you genuinely care about. The conversation unfolds as usual, shared coffee, familiar laughter, but then comes a tiny, almost imperceptible moment when her gaze changes. It's no longer the warmth it once held. Instead, a flicker of doubt appears, a subtle shift in how she perceives you. She doesn't say anything, only offers a slight smile, yet deep down you sense that something has been lost, a fragment of respect. Women notice this faster than anyone. They may not analyze it, but they feel it when a man weakens. Not because he is poorer, less successful, or quieter, but because he has lost the strong presence they once sensed. She sees the way you falter when facing conflict. She notices your forced smile when you should remain silent. She perceives you seeking approval where you ought to stand firm alone. And in those few fleeting seconds, her perception of you begins to shift. Most men never notice that moment. They continue the conversation, keep trying to do everything right, believing that kindness, indulgence, and avoiding conflict are signs of maturity. But to a woman, these are signals of weakness. In the world of emotions, weakness isn't measured by muscles or money. It's measured by how you control yourself when things don't go as expected. In Stoic philosophy, Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." True strength doesn't come from controlling others. It comes from controlling your own reactions. And this is exactly what women instinctively notice first in a man. They don't hear with their ears, they sense the security in your emotions. When they see you waver, they lose trust. When they see you remain silent under pressure, they begin to respect you. In this video, we'll explore 7 signs that women see when they sense a man weakening and 7 Stoic mindset shifts to reverse it. Because sometimes you don't need to change your entire self. You just need to pause, observe, and regain control. And when you do, her gaze that once shifted will return to you. The first clear sign is that you constantly seek validation. There is a type of man who thinks he is showing affection, but in reality is slowly losing his attractiveness. He is the kind who always needs to hear, "I love you," needs to see messages answered immediately, needs reassurance that he is good enough, important enough, worthy of attention. He doesn't realize that the harder he tries to seek validation from others, the further he distances himself from respect, especially from women. Women sense this very clearly, often before you even realize you are doing it. When you ask too many questions, overextend your concern, or show anxiety just because she responds slowly, you are sending an unconscious signal. I don't trust my own value. And in the female psyche, this creates an emotional imbalance, a sign of weakness. Not physically, but mentally and emotionally. They won't explicitly say, "You're weak," because women rarely express what they feel through reason, but they start to feel it. They sense that you need them to define your self-worth. They sense that you are living in their emotions rather than in your own world. And when that happens, they begin to step back, not because they no longer love you, but because instinctively, respect fades for a man who depends emotionally. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Remember, a person's value does not lie in what others say about him, but in how he conducts himself." A Stoic man understands that the desire for validation is natural, but living dependent on it is a chain. When you need praise to feel good enough, you've handed control of your emotions to someone else. And anyone who holds sway over your emotions, even the woman you love, wields power in that relationship. In truth, there is nothing wrong with wanting to be loved or appreciated. The mistake lies in letting it define you. A truly strong man doesn't need anyone to say he is enough. He knows it through discipline, through action, through facing challenges without needing comforting pats on the back. Such a man doesn't seek validation because his calmness is proof of his own worth. Women are drawn to this, not because they like cold men, but because they feel safe around someone who doesn't need to prove himself. When you don't chase their emotions, you show them that you are someone they can trust. When you don't need them to say, "You're okay," they recognize that you truly are. And when you stop seeking validation, you begin to radiate a new kind of energy, the energy of a confident man, not because of recognition, but because he knows who he is. In reality, many people think they are caring, but in fact, they are trying to control someone else's emotions to feel safe. They ask repeatedly, seek constant feedback, crave praise, all driven by a deep fear of being abandoned. Stoicism teaches the opposite. Freedom begins when you are no longer controlled by that fear. When you understand that whether others love you is beyond your control, you start to release the need for approval. And it is precisely when you let go that others begin to see you differently. True validation doesn't come from the outside. It comes from looking at yourself in the mirror and saying, I know who I am, and I don't need anyone to confirm it. When you reach that point, the way others look at you changes, not pity or doubt, but respect. The second sign is constantly avoiding conflict. There is a type of silence that is not calmness, but fear. Many men confuse being composed with avoiding confrontation. They believe that not arguing, not speaking up, or not facing issues is a sign of maturity. But to women, it is not a sign of strength, it is a sign of weakness. Think back to the times you were spoken to harshly or treated with disrespect, and you just smiled awkwardly or comforted yourself. It's fine, I'll let it slide for peace's sake. You may have believed you were acting like a composed man, but in reality, you sent a clearer message than any words could. I don't dare defend myself. And women, with their subtle instincts, will notice immediately. They won't say it outright, but you will sense something has shifted. A slight coldness in her tone, a subtle lack of respect in her eyes. Women don't need an aggressive man. They don't need someone shouting, slamming tables, or pretending to be strong. What they do need is someone with clear boundaries. Because when you remain silent in the face of things that hurt you, you not only lose self-respect, but you also make them doubt your ability to protect them through spirit, presence, and stance. A man who cannot defend himself from disrespect will never make others feel safe. Stoicism doesn't teach you to seek conflict, but it teaches you not to fear facing it. Epictetus said, "No one can harm you without your consent." This is not advice to avoid confrontation, but a reminder that the power to respond belongs to you. You can choose to remain silent, but it must be purposeful silence, not fear. You can choose not to argue, but because you have spoken enough, not because you lack the courage to speak. The difference lies in the energy within. A Stoic man remains silent because he understands the power of words. He knows that sometimes holding back makes what he eventually says carry more weight. A weak man, however, stays silent because he doesn't want to upset anyone, fears rejection, or worries about what others think. One is control, the other is avoidance, and women instinctively sense the difference. The third sign is that you react instead of taking initiative. Some men live their entire lives like a leaf in the wind, constantly shifting with the emotional gusts of others. A message left unanswered for too long makes them anxious. A cold remark makes them worry. A small change in someone else's attitude triggers hundreds of questions in their mind. They fail to realize that when their emotions depend on the outside world, they have lost the most important power, the power to govern themselves. A reactive man is always trailing circumstances. He waits for something to happen to know how he should feel. He waits for someone else to laugh to feel safe, waits for someone to be cold to feel uneasy. In relationships, this makes him predictable and easily influenced. Women don't need power to control you. They only need to see that you cannot control yourself, and respect naturally diminishes. Women perceive this very naturally. When they see you easily lose composure, become flustered, or fluctuate emotionally based on their mood, they no longer see you as a man of weight, not because they dislike emotion, they respect emotion, but because they only respect someone who can lead their own emotions. Women live through feelings. They need a man who serves as a calm center, not a mirror reflecting their own emotions. There is a type of strength that only those who are calm possess. It is when someone tries to unsettle you, but you simply look, take a deep breath, and feel no need to prove anything. In that moment, you become trustworthy. Women feel safe. Others begin to adjust their energy to match yours. You do nothing, you simply remain unshaken. And in Stoic philosophy, this is the pinnacle of self-mastery. Control through stillness. In contrast, when you are always reacting, you become the easiest to manipulate. Anyone can make you happy with a few compliments, make you anxious with a few moments of silence. You may think you are living, but in reality, you are merely reflexive. You are not acting, you are reacting. This is how men lose initiative in both work and relationships, by letting others dictate their emotions. If you want to know whether you are reacting or taking initiative, notice this. Do you choose your emotions each day, or do you let others decide them for you? If your mood depends on how others behave, you are living like a pendulum, not a mountain. And women are never attracted to a pendulum. They are drawn to a man who can stand firm while everything around him shifts. In a world of instant reactions, a man who knows how to slow down becomes rare. When you pause, breathe deeply, and see things as they are, you step across from weakness into the beginning of true strength. The fourth sign is that you live without purpose. The world moves on, but you remain stagnant like a ship anchored in the middle of the ocean, unaware of its destination. To a woman, this feeling doesn't need to be spoken. She sees it in your eyes, in the way you walk, in the lack of fire when you talk about the future. A man without purpose is like a street lamp that no longer shines. He may exist, but he no longer illuminates anyone's path. Women instinctively sense this adrift energy even when you try to appear fine. They don't seek perfection, but they are naturally drawn to those who know where they are going. Their instinct gravitates towards safety, and a man without direction creates unease, no matter how kind he may be. Purpose doesn't need to be grand. It can be wanting to be trustworthy, to help others, to build something better than yourself. But whatever it is, it must be real. The energy of a purposeful man is unmistakable. He speaks less, looks directly, and moves as if something is pulling him forward. In today's world where everyone is busy but few know where they are headed, a man with direction becomes a rare kind of ancient allure. Stoic philosophy doesn't teach you to dream. It teaches you to live with discipline, to turn dreams into action. Each morning, Marcus Aurelius asked himself, "What good will I do for the world today?" A guiding question for his life, and it should be for yours too. Purpose doesn't arrive on its own. It is created each time you choose meaningful action over the easy path. When you can answer with certainty, "What do I live for?" you reclaim the power you have long lost. Women respect a man not because he has it all, but because he is on a path towards something. They respect the consistency, focus, and calmness of someone who knows life doesn't have to be perfect. It only needs direction. And when you find that direction, you'll discover that you not only attract women more, but you also attract yourself. Ultimately, true attraction isn't about appearance or words. It's in the gaze of a man who knows where he's going, even if the path is long. And in that gaze, women recognize what they've always been searching for. A man whose mind is steady like the roots of a tree and whose heart still burns like fire. The next sign is that you hesitate to make decisions. Not all silence is wisdom. Sometimes it is the echo of indecision. Some men aren't wrong, they just never choose. They stand at a crossroads, wavering, weighing options, waiting for the perfect moment, and that moment never comes. Women sense this faster than anyone. They see hesitation in your eyes, uncertainty in your voice, and in the instant you falter, they know you are not the leader. You are the one who needs to be led. Indecisiveness doesn't just kill attraction, it kills trust. Women can accept that you make mistakes, but they cannot respect a man who doesn't dare to make them. A man who fears being wrong is a man who fears truly living. They notice when you ask for opinions on every small matter, hesitate to upset anyone, worry about choosing the wrong dish, or avoid making any decision. To them, it's not endearing, it creates unease. They won't say it aloud, but inside they begin to wonder. If I can't trust him with small things, how can I trust him with the big ones? A strong man doesn't always choose perfectly, but he always chooses. He understands that mistakes can be corrected, but hesitation cannot. Every decision he makes, no matter how small, reinforces his confidence, and women intuitively feel this. They don't need you to be better than them, they need you to be clearer. Your clarity becomes the space where they feel safe to relax, trust, and lean on you. Conversely, when you hesitate, You force them to assume the role of leader. They don't want to chart the course they want to follow someone who knows where they're going. The moment they step up to make decisions for you, they step out of the state of attraction they once felt. Not because they want control, but because you've relinquished your role as a spiritual leader. Women aren't looking for a man who is always right. They seek a man who knows what he's doing. A man who can't decide lives in the gray area. Never wrong, but never truly right. Never failing, but never creating anything significant. A decisive man is different. He understands that clarity is the first and last element that defines a man's strength. Sometimes all it takes to regain your attractiveness isn't changing yourself. It's having the courage to clearly state what you want. And when you do so calmly, confidently, without fear of being wrong, you'll notice the world around you begins to move in the direction you choose, rather than forcing you to move with it. Being too good to the point of losing boundaries is another clear sign. Some men are like candles. They illuminate others, but forget that they themselves are melting. They call it kindness, love, or sacrifice. But to women, limitless generosity is not a virtue. It is a sign of a lack of inner strength. When you give endlessly without limits, you are not giving from abundance. You are giving from scarcity. Kindness, when not paired with boundaries, quickly turns into weakness. A too good man is one who cannot say no. He fears upsetting others, being misunderstood, or losing his image. He forgets that true kindness is not about making everyone happy. It's about doing what is right. And sometimes doing what is right means refusing. Without limits, you gradually get drawn into relationships where others feel no need to respect you. They only need to take advantage of you. Women can appreciate kindness, but they cannot desire it if it is not accompanied by strength. A man who always agrees, always accommodates, always puts others' emotions above his own does not make them feel safe. He makes them feel empty. Subconsciously, women know that if you cannot protect yourself, you cannot protect them either. What is the difference between being good and being strong? A good man wants to make others happy. A strong man wants to do what is right. A good man fears being misunderstood. A strong man accepts being misunderstood to uphold his values. A good man wants to be loved. A strong man knows that if love requires him to lose himself, then it is no longer love. A man's true attractiveness does not come from what he does for others, but from his courage to stand firm in his own values. When you can look someone in the eyes and say no, calmly without anger, without guilt, you demonstrate that your kindness is not a weakness, but a conscious choice. That is when others begin to see you differently. Kindness is not measured by how often you accommodate, but by how often you remain true to yourself when others try to pull you away. A man who knows how to say no to the world is a man who can say yes to himself. And in that silence, you are no longer a candle melting for others. You are a flame that burns brightly without consuming yourself. The final sign is that you fear loss. Look at your hands. The tighter you grip, the more easily things slip away. Love, respect, opportunities, they can all be like sand in your palm. The more you fear losing them, the faster they escape. Many men are not weak because they lack, but because they dare not let go. They cling to relationships, to work, to reputation, to whatever once made them feel safe until that very fear of loss becomes an invisible chain, trapping them in insecurity. Fear of loss makes men do things they once despised. They control, they appease, they sacrifice boundaries to hold on to what they fear losing. But the irony is that the harder they cling, the more others want to leave. No one feels free in the arms of a fearful person. Women don't want to be held, they want to choose to stay. And a truly strong man is one who dares to let others have the freedom to go. There is a unique peace in accepting that you can lose everything. When you no longer fear loss, you are no longer controlled. You love not out of fear of loneliness, but out of a desire to share. You work not out of fear of failure, but to create value. You live not out of fear of death, but because you understand that each day is worth living. Letting go is not giving up. It is the highest form of spiritual freedom. Fear of loss is instinct. Overcoming it is the art of a mature man. When you dare to let go, you not only reclaim freedom for yourself, You also give others the chance to love you truly, not out of obligation, but out of choice. True attraction does not come from clinging. It comes from disciplined freedom, where you can love deeply without losing yourself. Strength is not in holding tight, but in opening your hands. When you can watch someone walk away and still smile, not bitterly, not resentfully, you have reached a level of power most men never touch in a lifetime. Because a truly strong man is not one who has everything, but one who no longer fears losing anything. Look back at the 7 signs we've explored. Each sign is not only a reflection of weakness, it's a reminder of where you've lost yourself. When you seek validation from others, you forget that value doesn't need praise, it simply needs to be lived. When you avoid conflict, you don't maintain peace. You merely postpone truth. When you react instead of acting, you let emotions control you instead of mastering them. When you live without purpose, you breathe, but you do not truly live. When you hesitate to decide, you let life decide for you. When you are too good to the point of losing boundaries, your kindness becomes weakness. And when you fear loss, you forget that the only thing worth holding on to is your own fortitude. All of these stem from one root cause: lack of inner mastery. And that is what Stoic philosophy teaches, that self-mastery is not coldness, not repression, but a deep understanding of yourself so that no one else can control you. A self-mastery man doesn't need to prove anything. He simply exists, and in his presence, everything is already said. If you've watched this far, perhaps you're beginning to find yourself again, not to become someone else, but to return to the man you were always meant to be. Calm, clear, and unshakable. The world will continue to be loud. People will continue to judge, to test, and sometimes make you question your worth. But remember, everything can leave you, except your inner peace. That is the one thing no one can take away unless you choose to let go. And if this video has resonated with you, share one thing you want to change first in the comments. Not to seek praise, but to remind yourself that the journey of a man never ends. Hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any lessons on Stoic masculinity, where we don't learn how to become more attractive, but how to become a man who no longer needs to be.